The film begins with Ron the janitor, Blake Anderson, sticking out to Dark Widow in the corridors of an exploration office. He enters where Dr. Peter Morris Theo Kypri is dealing with something. Peter leaves to get a nibble from the candy machine. While Ron tidies up, he sees something behind a drapery. There, he finds a man connected to a machine with cylinders, and his skin is pale and veiny. Ron snatches the man's wrist, and he jerks, making Ron stagger in reverse and screw up the machine. As he attempts to fix it, he then endeavors to give the man CPR, until he sees his draining gums. He attempts to revive him with his hands, however, they go through the man's stomach. The man bounces up and begins tossing Ron all once again the room while Peter is attempting to get a pack of chips out. As he attempts to arrive at the sack, Ron rises up out of the room all zombified and assaults Peter. The pack then, at that point, gradually drops to the base. Three boy troopers and youth pals Ben Ty Sheridan, Carter Logan Mill Operator, and Augie Joey Morgan are with their scout chief Rogers David Kochner for Scouts Enlistment Day. Sadly, just a single youngster is there, and he leaves. Subsequent to watching the Klitsch video, albeit deterred, Rogers reminds the young men that this evening is an exceptional night for Augie, since he's getting his Condor identification. While driving home, Carter advises Ben that they need to advise Augie that they need to stop being scouts, notwithstanding keeping close by throughout the previous 2 years after the demise of Augie's father. Ben then, at that point, hits a deer out and about, causing a punctured tire. As they change it, Carter sees his sister Kendall Halston Sage showing up with her beau Jeff Patrick Schwarzenegger and companion Chloe Nikki Koss. While Ben converses with Kendall, Carter talks up the other two and gets a solicitation to a mysterious senior party that evening. Ben then sees that the deer isn't in a similar place where it fell. Figuring the party could be groundbreaking for them, Carter lets Ben know that they can go to Augie's identification function and escape to the party when he's snoozing. Ben drives Carter home, where they run into his cranky older neighbor, Miss Defender Cloris Leachman, who advises Carter to keep his trash canisters from her carport. In the forest, Rogers strolls and tracks down Peter's identification. He sees something stirring in the shrubs. The deer arises in its zombie state and attempts to get Rogers. He wounds the deer in the eye with his fortunate blade, just to then get his throat chomped out by zombie Peter. En route to the function, Ben and Carter come by the alcohol store so Carter can give a tanked bum $20 to get them lager. This misfires since the man makes a commotion in the store. Passing by is Denise Sarah Dumont, a young lady that probably exited from the young men's secondary school and turned into a stripper. Ben and Carter meet Augie in the forest where he's now preparing his setting up camp stuff. The young men hang out and mess about the entire evening until it gets dull. They get a fire going and broil marshmallows, and needs to utilize a lighter. At the point when Augie communicates his euphoria at getting to spend time with his companions, causing Ben to feel somewhat regretful about needing to leave. After Augie nods off, Carter moves Ben and they drive away, just for Augie to appear out and about. He is familiar with the party, and keeping in mind that he's devastated and disheartened, he advises the folks to go at any rate. Ben and Carter stop at the alcohol store briefly. Ben sees that the glass entryway has been broken. Carter sees that the bouncer at the strip joint is absent. He gets Ben to go inside with him. Carter races to get cash from the ATM while Ben sits by the stage. A stripper emerges and begins to move. At the point when Carter appears, the zombie stripper climbs the post, and blood sprays from her open neck wound, uncovering she is a zombie. The young men run and find the bouncer is a zombie as well. Ben into the restroom while Carter stows away from the stripper. Carter kills her by staying a wrecked glass bottle in her mind. Denise, who is actually a mixed drink server, shows up with a shotgun and shoots the bouncer's head off. Augie goes to Roger's home. He sees no one there other than an odd assortment of cart part and things. Augie then goes to drop a huge load and gets back to the lounge to track down zombie Rogers. He pursues Augie through the house the whole way to the storm cellar, where Augie gets a jar of lighter liquid and a gas lighter to set his scout chief ablaze. He then, at that point, ties Rogers up and leaves. Ben, Carter, and Denise go to the sheriff's specialization and see a sign that says the town's been cleared. The zombie crowd draws nearer, and the three run inside. The police have been zombified too, constraining them to secure themselves in a cell. The three attempt to get the key from the wall. Ben involves Carter's condoms as a chain and figures out how to snatch the keys, until Augie appears and inadvertently kicks them into a channel pipe. Luckily, Augie picks the lock with his blade. A zombie comes in, yet Ben pierces it through the head. They head out. The four stroll not too far off and experience the plastered bum as a zombie. Augie endeavors to champion himself utilizing his scout's information, driving him and Carter to sing "Child" once again with the zombie after they notices Brittany Lance's shirt. A shot then goes through the bum's head, discharged by an officer. He takes the four to the location that Carter was given for the party so they can save Kendall. Nonetheless, Jeff gave Carter the location to a sewage plant since it's brimming with poop. Augie tells Carter now he understands what it's prefer to be cheated. Carter then concedes that he and Ben were at that point wanting to stop being scouts. This makes Augie let Carter know that Ben really likes Kendall, enraging Carter. To exacerbate the situation, they hear on the radio that the town is to be bombarded in under 2 hours. As the young men battle, the trooper transforms into a zombie and assaults Denise. The young men help her, and she crushes the zombie's head with the vehicle entryway. Carter derives that Kendall presumably composed the area of the party in her journal, so they take the truck to his home. Back in the young men's area, they experience Rogers go into Carter's home to track down the journal. They glance through Kendall's room until they hear a clamor from first floor. Carter and Augie go to look at it. Denise then sees an image of Kendall and comprehends the reason why Ben has eyes for her. Noticing his absence of certainty, she advises Ben to kiss her. He attempts, yet coincidentally headbutts Denise. She then, at that point, does it for him. Zombies break into Carter's home, including Miss Defender. She goes after Carter and attempts to, in a real sense, eat his butt until he and Augie compel her against a window to break it and afterward cleave her head off. More zombies assault. The posse battles them and run toward Kendall's space to bounce on the trampoline and over the wall. Carter, Denise, and Augie proceed, Ben going last. As the zombies break into the room, Kendall's journal drops out of the clothing cabinet. Ben snatches it and goes to hop. However, there are an excessive number of zombies on the trampoline and an excessive number of in the room. Ben gets ready to hop, however almost slips until he seizes something, a zombie penis. The posse runs into Miss Defender's home where they experience her zombie felines. Subsequent to getting away from them, they head into the carport and take her vehicle prior to leaving. The young men discover that the party is at a wreck focus. Denise tracks down a bike and goes to find support. Ben gives his companions an energizing discourse on how they will kick zombie ass and save their companions. They stop at a home improvement shop and snatch many supplies prior to making a beeline for the party. The party, Chloe and her beau Travis Lucas Gage go into a room so Travis can engage in sexual relations with Chloe. She rejects, however permits him to eat her out. A zombie with no lower jaw enters and kills Travis. He eats just a little prior to transforming her into a zombie. Kendall is stressed over her sibling, until Jeff concedes he gave Carter some unacceptable location. Pissed, Kendall leaves. Jeff attempts to hold her back, however, she slaps him. He pushes Kendall as zombie Chloe enters and goes after Jeff. Kendall takes off, just to see that more zombies are coming. At the point when it seems as though she's finished, the scouts show up to ruin. Ben cuts the zombies down with a weed whacker, Carter has a nailer, and Augie has a firearm that fires weighty balls. Carter nails Chloe in the head, while Ben beheads Jeff. The young men lead the survivors to the steps while Ben salvages Kendall. He remains behind to lock the entryways while his companions run toward a room. Augie puts a bomb that he made on the floor and attempts to light it. The keep going one is Rogers outwardly, however, he's exploded by a projectile. The military at last shows up to make all the difference. The morning comes, and Denise urges Ben to pursue Kendall. Without the slightest hesitation, he approaches her and kisses her enthusiastically.